Hundreds of thousands of voters have been purged from the polls in 2 states, Georgia and Wisconsin, and this is disastrous. Now, as we know, Georgia had already played games with their voter rolls in the gubernatorial race between Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams, and of course, the Republican in that race won. And anytime you hear a story about voters being purged from the polls, it's usually because of demands by the right wing, and unfortunately, more often than not, they get what they want. Recently, during a rally, Bernie Sanders spoke out against this. Let's hear what he had to say.
The state of Wisconsin purged 200,000 people from their voting lists. And tonight, although it's not yet definitive, a judge can yet overrule it, the state of Georgia just purged 300,000 people from their voting lists. Needless to say, these are 2 battleground states. And I gotta say, to those Republican governors and officials who are too cowardly to debate the real issues facing this country, too cowardly to engage in a free, fair, and open debate, too cowardly to think that the only way they can win an election is by denying people the right to vote. I say to those cowards, get out of politics and get another job.
I don't really know where he gets his energy from because I'm exhausted right now, and I mean, it's incredible that he's out there and he's fighting, and look, he's drawing attention to a really important issue. So let me just give you a few of the numbers and statistics here to give you a sense of how severe this is. So a federal judge actually allowed Georgia to move ahead with a purge of over 300,000 voters deemed inactive by Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Now, look, this is a game that they play, right? So if you happen to be a registered voter who maybe wasn't inspired enough to go to the polls and vote in elections, they will decide to purge you from the polls because they'll argue, oh, well, this person is inactive, maybe they changed their address, maybe they don't live here anymore, so let's just go ahead and purge the polls. And more often than not, what happens is they might get a letter indicating, hey, you might be purged from the polls unless you respond to this. But most people might think that it's nothing more than spam, nothing more than advertisements, just junk to throw out. And so something very similar happened in Wisconsin, but let me just tell you how bad this is in Georgia. The Georgia voter rolls are expected to shrink from 7.4 million to 7.1 million. According to Fair Fight Action, 120,561 Georgia voters are being removed from the polls solely because they have decided not to participate in recent elections. So look, this again, Bernie's right. I mean, they can't debate the issues. They know that they have ideas that aren't really popular with the American people. And so rather than debate the issues, why not game the system against the Democratic candidates? And that's what they've been doing systematically over and over again.
So I love the Bernie clip. The more aggressive, the better. Calling out Republicans is great. By the way, I remember when the media counted him out. I remember Chris Cillizza asking who is going to take his place among the different candidates now that in his mind he had been eliminated. Oops. Latest poll has Bernie Sanders in a statistical tie for first nationwide with Joe Biden. Now, I say statistical tie is down by 2. Collection of polls, Biden's still leading. By the way, I'm very concerned about Biden's lead, but that's a different story. Okay, but Bernie's surging in almost all the polls in almost all the states. So in terms of the voter rolls here, look, why are they doing it? Are they doing it in, how can you tell if it's biased or not? So if, for example, they were doing it in all these different states, and they are, and in some of the states they targeted a little bit more Democrats, but in some of the states they targeted a little bit more Republicans because they're doing it randomly, they're doing it legitimately, because they have to do clean out the voter rolls every once in a while. Statistically, it would be spread out and it would affect Republicans and Democrats equally, except it doesn't. They're doing it in all of the Republican areas in the Republican states, and in every instance, it hurts Democrats more. Gee, I wonder if it's random and legitimate or if it has a political purpose. So let's go to Wisconsin. Milwaukee and Madison, the state's Democratic strongholds, account for 14% of Wisconsin's registered voters, but received 23% of the letters that are going to take them off the rolls. So hey, look at that. More heavily minority areas that are more Democratic voters, and they are disproportionately targeted in this purge.
Right.
What a shocking coincidence. Overall in the state of Wisconsin, 55% of the letters basically saying you gotta respond now, otherwise we're gonna take you off the voter rolls, were sent to municipalities that were where Democratic Hillary Clinton outpolled Trump in 2016. Another wild coincidence that it again favors Republicans by at least 10 points.
So there is a way to fight back against this, right? So in the case of both Georgia and Wisconsin, you have judges ruling in favor of what the Republican lawmakers want to do. But the best way to fight back against that is to let people in your community know that they need to register to vote. Check in. See if you're still registered. If you're not, register to vote before it's too late. Not everyone watches progressive media. Not everyone watches media that actually gives you the truth about what's happening in the country. So don't assume everyone's up to date about the news and what's happening to the voter rolls. Let people in your community know, make sure that they're registered to vote.
Look, the Democrats don't fight back. So it's only the Republicans doing voter purges.
They fight back, they just fight back against progressives.
Right, but not against Republicans. So now here's an idea that Democrats will never do. You wanna do voter purges? How about in blue states? Or most importantly, in swing states we control, yeah, let's do voter purges. Oh, what an unlucky break. We purged 60% Republicans and golly gee, I mean, we could all stop together. If you stop voter purges in Georgia and Wisconsin, we could stop it in Pennsylvania and California. But I guess if you want to keep it going, New York, now we did it in New York. Another unlucky break, just like the Republicans. They happen to be purging mainly Democrats. We just randomly wound up purging mainly Republicans. But the Democrats would never do that.
I don't think they should. To be fair, I think it's a bad strategy. Like I don't like using voters.
No, Anna, look. I'm making a rhetorical point.
Yeah.
Do I actually want voter purges? No, I don't want a single voter purge. I think that this is undemocratic. But Democrats just like complaining about it isn't getting anything done. You have to find a creative, different way of fighting back. And the governor of Wisconsin is now a Democrat. Look, I don't know Wisconsin politics well enough to tell them exactly which tactic to use to fight back, but I know that I'd give it everything I got. And if they're doing voter purges, you're the governor, figure it out. But 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, Democrat goes, I can't believe they're doing that. Oh well. No, it's not an oh well situation. It requires all hands on deck to protect our democracy. By the way, protecting the voting rights of minorities in this country, Jesus Christ, let's go. And they point out, look, in Wisconsin, the governor won by 30,000. Now they're taking a couple 100,000 people off the voter rolls, mainly Democrats. Well, then they're gonna lose the next election. These are how the Republicans steal election after election. They steal these elections. They stole it from Stacey Abrams in Georgia. They stole it from her. And where are you guys? Let's go. And Stacey Abrams is doing a great job of fighting back. And so is Gillum in Florida. They're looking to register more people, make sure everybody gets the chance to vote. Now that's active, that's positive, that's constructive. Rest of the Democrats, up and at them, fight back for God's sake. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.